I always thought my family was completely normal until my grandfather passed away and left his entire $10 million estate to a random woman none of us had ever heard of. My parents, aunts, and uncles were absolutely furious. They spent weeks screaming about hired lawyers, fraud, and gold diggers, convinced this woman had somehow manipulated an old man in his final days. They tracked down her address, and my dad forced the entire family to drive over to confront her face to face. When we arrived at the small, modest house, a woman in her late 40s opened the door. Before my dad could even start yelling, she looked at him, then looked at me, and burst into tears. She didn't look like a scammer. She looked like she had just seen a ghost. She invited us inside, sat us down, and brought out an old, dusty photo album. She opened the first page, and my dad instantly went dead silent. The room became so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. The album was filled with pictures of my grandfather, decades ago, standing next to a woman who looked exactly like my mom. But it wasn't my mom. The woman looked at my dad and whispered, "Your father didn't leave the money to a stranger. He left it to me because I am his biological daughter. And the woman you think is your mother was actually my identical twin sister." It turned out that 35 years ago, after a massive, bitter family feud, my grandfather's twin daughters completely cut ties with each other. One sister took my dad and cut off the grandfather entirely, changing her identity, while the other sister stayed behind to take care of him. My dad had grown up his entire life believing a lie, raised by an aunt he thought was his mother, while his real mother had died years ago in poverty. As my family sat there in absolute, paralyzed shock, I realized our biggest problem wasn't losing the inheritance. It was realizing our entire family tree was a fabricated illusion.